How much longer, Raina?
Dust filled the air, swirling in the beam of his flashlight. He coughed, waving his hand.
Just a little longer, I think this is it.
Raina, perched on a dusty trunk, grinned mischievously. She wrestled with an old, leather-bound diary. It creaked open, revealing yellowed pages and a faded ink drawing. A map.
Wow.
Arish's eyes widened. The map depicted a sprawling mansion, hidden deep within a dark forest. A chill ran down his spine, despite the attic's stuffy heat.
This looks exciting. The Whispering Woods and an abandoned mansion. We have to check it out.
Later that night, armed with flashlights and curiosity, Arish and Raina stood at the edge of the Whispering Woods. The wind rustled the leaves, sounding like whispers in the dark.
Are you sure about this?
The forest seemed to press in, dark and mysterious.
Come on, scaredy cat. It's just an old mansion. What's the worst that could happen?
She took a deep breath and stepped into the shadows. Arish hesitated, then followed. He couldn't let Raina face the unknown alone. As they walked deeper into the woods, the air grew colder and the whispering sounds intensified. The woods were alive with strange noises. Branches creaked like old bones and unseen creatures rustled in the undergrowth. Arish jumped at every sound, his heart pounding.
Did you hear that?
He whispered, grabbing Raina's arm. Raina, surprisingly calm, just shook her head.
It's just the wind, Arish. Relax.
But even she sounded less confident now. They continued through the woods, their flashlight beams cutting through the darkness. Finally, they stumbled into a clearing. In the center, bathed in moonlight, stood the mansion from the map. It was more imposing up close, its windows like empty eyes, its walls overgrown with ivy that resembled grasping claws. A shiver ran down Arish's spine. This place felt wrong. The iron gate groaned as Arish pushed it open, the sound echoing in the stillness. The air was thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the creaking of the gate. It felt as though the gate hadn't been opened in years, its rusty hinges protesting against the movement. The path leading to the mansion was overgrown with weeds, as if untouched for decades. Each step they took was met with the crunch of dry leaves and the snap of twigs underfoot. The path seemed to wind endlessly, shrouded in a dense fog that made it hard to see more than a few feet ahead. As they walked, shadows seemed to dance at the edge of their flashlight beams. The darkness played tricks on their eyes, making them see fleeting figures that vanished as quickly as they appeared. The shadows seemed almost alive, moving with a will of their own. Arish felt a cold breath on the back of his neck, making him shudder. It was as if the very air around him was whispering secrets, sending chills down his spine. He turned quickly, but there was nothing there, just the oppressive darkness.
Raina, did you feel that? His voice trembled slightly, betraying his fear.
He whispered, his voice tight with fear. The silence that followed was deafening, amplifying the tension in the air. Raina, her eyes fixed on the mansion, didn't seem to hear him. Her gaze was locked on the towering structure ahead, its windows like dark, empty eyes staring back at her. She was completely captivated by the building's eerie beauty. The mansion stood like a sentinel, its Gothic architecture both beautiful and terrifying. Vines crawled up its walls, and the moonlight cast long, sinister shadows. Arish swallowed his fear and followed. His heart pounded in his chest, each beat echoing in his ears. He couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. They reached the massive oak door, its surface weathered and cracked. Raina pushed against it. The door resisted at first, as if it too was reluctant to let them in. It creaked open, revealing a dark, cavernous entrance. The whispering sounds intensified, filling the air with an almost tangible sense of dread. The darkness beyond the door seemed to beckon them, promising secrets and dangers in equal measure. The air inside the mansion was heavy with the smell of dust and decay. It felt as though the very walls were exhaling centuries of forgotten memories, each breath laden with the weight of time. Cobwebs hung from every corner, and the only light came from their flashlights. The beams cut through the darkness, revealing glimpses of the mansion's former grandeur now lost to neglect.
Hello? Raina's voice trembled slightly, the single word hanging in the air like a fragile thread.
Raina called out, her voice echoing in the silence. The echoes seemed to stretch on forever, bouncing off the walls and returning to them in a distorted, almost mocking tone. The only answer was the rustling of unseen things and the soft whispers that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. It was as if the mansion was alive, its very structure whispering secrets of the past. As they walked deeper into the mansion, the whispers grew louder. Each step seemed to provoke the house, the whispers growing more insistent, more desperate. Arish could almost make out words, whispers of fear and sadness that sent chills down his spine. The voices seemed to be pleading, warning them of something unseen and unfathomable.
This is creepy. Arish's voice was barely above a whisper, his fear palpable.
He muttered, shining his flashlight on a dusty grandfather clock. The clock stood as a silent sentinel, its face frozen in time, a relic of a bygone era. The clock chimed, its sound unnaturally loud in the silent mansion. The chime reverberated through the halls, a stark contrast to the oppressive silence that had enveloped them. The sound seemed to anger the whispers. They rose in volume, their tone shifting from soft murmurs to harsh, angry hisses. They rose in volume, swirling around Arish and Raina like an unseen vortex. The air grew colder, the whispers forming a tangible presence that pressed in on them from all sides. Arish felt a sense of dread creeping over him. It was as if the mansion itself was trying to communicate, to convey its sorrow and anger through the whispers. This place was truly haunted. The realization settled over them like a shroud, the weight of the mansion's history pressing down on their shoulders. A low humming sound began to fill the air, vibrating through the floorboards. It was as if the very essence of the room was alive, resonating with an unseen energy. Ahead of them, a faint blue glow emanated from a doorway. The light seemed to beckon them, casting long, eerie shadows on the walls.
What is that? Arish's voice trembled with a mix of curiosity and fear.
Arish whispered, his voice barely audible above the humming. The sound seemed to grow louder, almost as if it was responding to their presence. Raina, her eyes fixed on the glow, took a step closer. Her heart pounded in her chest, each beat echoing the rhythm of the humming.
I don't know, but I think we need to find out. Raina's voice was steady, but her eyes betrayed her uncertainty.
They cautiously approached the doorway. Every step felt heavy, as if the air itself was thick with anticipation. Inside, a crystal ball rested on a pedestal, pulsating with the eerie blue light. The light seemed to dance, casting strange patterns on the walls. As they drew closer, a disembodied voice echoed through the room. It was deep and resonant, sending shivers down their spines.
"Solve my riddle and you shall pass." The voice was commanding, leaving no room for doubt. "Fail and be trapped forever within these walls." The walls seemed to close in slightly, emphasizing the gravity of the situation.
A riddle appeared, glowing on the surface of the crystal ball. The words shimmered almost as if they were alive. This was the challenge of the whispering shadows. The shadows seemed to whisper secrets, their voices intertwining with the humming, creating an eerie symphony. The riddle was cryptic, filled with ancient symbols and strange wording. Arish's mind raced, trying to decipher its meaning. Fear threatened to paralyze him, but he knew he had to be brave.
What does it mean?
Raina whispered, her brow furrowed in concentration. Arish took a deep breath, forcing himself to focus. He had always been good at puzzles. He studied the symbols, searching for any connection, any clue. Time seemed to stand still as they worked. The whispers grew louder, taunting them with their failure. But Arish refused to give in. He wouldn't let fear control him. Hours passed. The riddle remained unsolved. Frustration gnawed at Arish. He was ready to give up, to admit defeat and walk away.
I can't do it. It's too hard. We're trapped here forever.
Raina placed a comforting hand on his shoulder, gently.
Don't give up, Arish. We can do this together. We just have to keep trying, no matter what.
Her words sparked a flicker of hope in Arish's chest. He looked at her, at their joined hands, and realized something important. This wasn't just about solving a riddle, it was about their friendship, their trust in each other, and their perseverance. Together, they tackled the riddle with renewed determination. They bounced ideas off each other, their fear replaced by a shared sense of purpose, and finally, they had a breakthrough.
The symbols. They represent different rooms in the mansion. We need to find the corresponding objects.
They raced through the mansion, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. They found a rusty key in the library, a silver locket in a forgotten nursery, and a chipped teacup in a dusty dining room. With each object they collected, the whispers grew fainter, the shadows less menacing. They were close to breaking the curse. Returning to the chamber with the crystal ball, they placed the objects on the pedestal. The crystal ball pulsed brightly, bathing the room in its blue light. The whispers reached a crescendo, then abruptly stopped. The mansion groaned, its walls seeming to tremble. The blue light faded, revealing a doorway behind the pedestal. It pulsed with a warm, inviting glow.
We did it.
Her voice was filled with relief and awe. They stepped through the doorway, leaving the mansion and its whispering shadows behind. They emerged into the cold night air, the first rays of dawn painting the sky with hues of pink and orange. They were free. Raina takes a deep breath of fresh air, a wide smile spreading across her face.
We did it, Arish. We faced the whispering shadows and won.
We did, but we couldn't have done it without each other, Raina.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
She turns to face the camera, her expression mischievous.
Did you like our spooky adventure? Don't forget to subscribe for more exciting mysteries and thrilling escapades.